What exactly is the difference between a relationship that starts off based on valid discussions versus one where it's determined by product features, functions, and price as the main
Mhm.
topic?
Well, and again, oftentimes people are used to that. Hey, I want to. Well, let's talk about buying a car. And I use this example, and what I shouldn't say pick on. We'll use my wife as an example. So. My wife says, "I want an SUV, and it's got to have leather seats and heated and all this kind of stuff and whatever." Okay, and so she goes to the uh, car dealership, and then they sell her a let's say, so I will use a lot of the people who make these are our customers. So uh, she gets the biggest SUV that they have, likes it, she's up high, whatever. Well, she drives it for 2 months and she says, well, this gets horrible mileage. It's hard to park. Uh, it's, it doesn't have the best ride. And, you know, this is terrible. And well, did she get what she asked for? Well, absolutely. She said, I want a big SUV and I want with leather and I want with these, I want these features and functions and etc. Well, again, it's terrible mileage. They're hard to park. And again, I myself have a couple of these things and all those things are true. But again, if you've got the use case, it's fine. This is an illustrative thing of what somebody's asking for and what they need may not be the same thing. Did anyone bother to ask her? Okay, Miss, what are you going to be using this for? Oh, well, I need to. Uh, uh, she's a teacher. I need to drive to school daily and errands and things like that. Oh, okay. Well, maybe you don't need the biggest SUV that we sell, right? Maybe you need something. Maybe you need a hybrid. Maybe you need something. But yeah, you probably need all-wheel drive. You live up in the places where they get snow, right? So again, how do you figure out what people need and what they're asking for? And again, I think that's when you start to bridge that features and functions and you say to people, okay, why don't we go and see what you're doing, and we may gain some insight as to some of the things you're struggling on, because we may not, I'll tell people all my observations are not probably not going to be a lightning bolt from the sky. It's I'm sure somebody's brought them up or you've even thought of them, but I may put them in a different context and I may be able to point out that it may be a bigger impediment to your success than you had previously thought, doing uh, this particular thing at this particular time may be a bigger roadblock to your success than you would have thought. And the other thing is, maybe doing this thing would add more value than you had realized, right? And so that's a lot of how we kind of get past the features and functions, because again, one of my worst case scenarios is I gave someone what they asked for and it wasn't what they needed.
Sure, and it's kind of the theme of this discussion right now. It's like what you want in your head versus the reality of the situation, which is
Right,
why I assume this value assessment is so crucial. But
right.
um, just out of curiosity, right? Let's just say, for argument's sake, that a company wants to do a value assessment, right?
Mhm.
So how exactly, when you're shopping around for like who to trust and so to do a value assessment,
Mhm.
what exactly are the qualifications for a team to do this value assessment? Is it knowledge, experience? What is it?
I would say those are two big things. Again, the folks on our team, and again, in the US, we've got a fairly small team, but most of us have done this for quite a while. Um, and again, it probably just comes down to experience. And I don't know who to attribute the quote to, but as they say, experience is what you get when you got what you didn't want. And it takes a long time to get there, right? Again, I had said, I can notice things on a 2-hour shop tour that, but again, can I teach someone that? Maybe, because somebody said, "Well, how did you notice that?" Well, gosh, people didn't seem to be, engaged. They were walking around. They were seemed confused. I mean, everybody wasn't. They're just the little things you pick up on, and so a lot of it's observational, a lot of it's experience. It's just things that you learn, things that, as you see more companies, you see things that maybe work better than other things, right? Different industries might be doing something, and so, again, I think it ends up being experience. And again, another thing is, I really enjoy doing this, and I think that helps as well. I mean, I'm excited to go in and understand what somebody's doing, what's going well, what's not going well. It helps me learn, and I may say, "Oh, wow, you're doing this particular thing in this particular way. That's a really great way. I may." You put that up in the filing cabinet, so to speak. And again, and as you go on your, I guess, your work journey, you start to these things that maybe work better and things that don't work as well, and you can share those with some of your customers. So yeah, it just really takes experience, observation, and maybe a little bit of uh, passion. I guess I think that helps.
So, we've just about run out of time. So, just in conclusion, do you have any last thoughts regarding how DELMIA could potentially help in the manufacturing field, or any words of advice for people based on the amounts of products that Dassault has at their disposal?
Well, so one of the things that we get asked a lot, does your product do this? And our answer is yes, it can, or it does out of the box, or you can configure it to do so. And again, I think the best advice I could give for people is to really understand what is it that they're trying to solve. What are the issues they have? And again, invite someone like us to come in and maybe assist them in that. But again, what are you trying to solve? You can't boil the ocean. You're not going to fix everything all at once. But what are the things you're trying to solve? And also, what in their mind represents success? Because all of these projects take money, and they take people, and they take time. And when you get to the end, you're like, oh my good gracious, this was expensive. And it took, and oh, whatever. Well, but hey, but you did all, you wanted to reduce rework by 5%. You actually reduce rework by 12%. You wanted to reduce your work in process inventory by 5%. You actually did 10%. And, whatever those KPIs are, again, understand what success is, because that helps with two things. One is uh, projects lose steam, right? You're on implementation 5, and oh my gosh, this is a lot of work. But hey, we're doing great things. And also to get additional funding, from, again, you're going to go to your folks who are in charge of capital, and you're going to say, I want X. Okay, great. And then when you go and say, oh, and we want to do more of this, or we want to expand it, um, or even continue on that path, it's great for to be able to say, "Hey, we did well on the first one. We want more money we want to do more of this, and maybe even expand the scope." So I would say those are the pieces of advice I would give customers. Again, having been one myself, I would give myself that advice too.